I'm a sucker for a good vampire movie. Luckily I got one last year in Renfield, and to my surprise, this year I get another vampire film, Abigail. It's a Universal film, but not tied in with the Blumhouse collection, thankfully. And it's directed by the two guys who made Ready or Not and Scream 6.
What do we know about vampires?
That they're not real.
What are we talking about, like an Anne Rice or a True Blood, Twilight? Very different kind of vampires.
So you're probably wondering what Abigail is all about. Well, plot-wise, we have a bunch of misfits. Just close your eyes and think of The Dark Knight, the beginning scene, and how you got a whole bunch of people with masks on, robbing a bank for some unknown person. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but they rob a child instead.
Sammy, shut up! What the? How'd she get out of those cuffs?
Huh?
Actors-wise, I was pretty impressed with the casting.
What's the big fun kind of genre hook? And then how can we make these characters really cool?
Like my guy Gus from Breaking Bad, I'll start with him.
Look, you're safe here. And to be completely certain that you can't be tracked, I'm going to collect your cell phones.
But he's tracking me.
He's working for someone who wants a girl kidnapped. But what's her name?
You don't need to know her name.
I don't care about her name. Whose kid is she?
A very wealthy man who's about to be $50 million poorer.
So yeah, the gang kidnappers are the following. Dan Stevens as Frank.
To all intents and purposes, he's sort of the team leader. He's been sort of appointed this by this guy Lambert, who's sort of charged him with running this team.
Angus Cloud as Dean.
In the bag.
Kathryn Newton as Sammy.
But she's got some secrets that are revealed to you later in the movie, and the biggest one, I can't tell you, but you'll just have to see it.
One second, I just gotta send this real quick.
Thank you. Okay.
Kevin Durand as Peter.
We've done repeated other jobs to be within this network of criminals, to do harm onto others in order to benefit themselves. So every single character in this movie is a monster.
Melissa Barrera as Joey. And Will Catlett as Rickles.
He's the one that kind of grounds the film, and the team. You always need a shooter, right? But you also need someone to have a sense of bringing people together in a way that is organic.
Keep the doors locked and the girl isolated. See you in 24 hours, my lovely pack of rats.
Anyone here seen From Dusk Till Dawn? Thank you. Yes. Both films are similar in that you have like a two genre piece.
You have this really confident, really tense heist movie, and it collides with a monster movie.
This film gets wacky and incredibly gory, with exploding bodies, a la Ready or Not. And Alisha Weir is really the standout. She's a great young actor who impressed me massively. Not only in Abigail, but she's actually Matilda in that musical that came out last year.
I really just, when I had those scenes where I'm killing everyone and I'm enjoying it, I just had to really get into it. And especially like all the teeth I get to put in and the contacts as well and all the blood, like it's a completely different person.
So that's 7 out of 10? I would strongly recommend this film for people who enjoy horror and vampire movies. A lot of fun to be had with this movie, which will probably see more success on streaming, as people are just more accustomed to sofa watching rather than making the effort to see a gem like this one at the flicks.
Joey?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about what's gonna happen to you.
Spoiler chat now, and I just want to sink my teeth into some of the stuff that stood out to me. Like the body explosions, for starters, were incredible.
I've done some very bloody movies before, and this is the most that I've ever been covered in blood.
Does feel like a successor or even like a subgenre to Ready or Not, because you had the similar stuff like the exploding bodies. In both films they look exactly the same. And yeah, I did feel like there was more depth in Abigail, more of an interesting backstory.
The game she's playing is a game she's played over and over again, never expecting to find somebody who cares a little more, and for the first time she finds it. We join her journey at that moment.
The reveal of Abigail's background was pretty well played. finding out she's centuries old and not a 12-year-old kid.
Early on, we had a lot of conversations about, well, how are we going to handle the mythology and the lore behind vampires?
And for me, it kind of kept the tradition of conventional vampire stories. Like, there's this bit where Abigail bites Sammy to take over her body, and the rules aren't given to us at the beginning.
Also set the movie in a way that the characters themselves within the film are aware of the other vampire movies and the other bits of vampire lore that exist.
They have to collectively draw on their knowledge of vampires in popular culture to try and defeat this thing.
That's right. Oh, hold on one second. Kathryn Newton, when she turns into a vampire, she looks exactly like Miley Cyrus. But also Sammy, oh my days, when she ends up in that pool of dead bodies and there's everywhere. Oh my god, that was an amazing reveal.
You see how deep this is? Yeah. Filled with bodies.
Love that they showed what was being done with those dead bodies after Abigail and her dad have been going through them over the years. Like, absolutely grim. It was actually really nice to see Angus Cloud. Like, I'm gonna miss that guy. Such a shame. It's really unfortunate that the Euphoria alumni has already dwindled. Like, you got some promising work from Zendaya, Jacob Elordi, Sydney Sweeney, and even Hunter Schafer. She's got Cuckoo coming out soon. Ah yes, my man Gus, Giancarlo. He's at the beginning to set up the trap for a bunch of misfits. And I was wondering when he'd pop up again, only for him to be in the house the whole entire time. And this is where the trailer threw me a curveball, and I love when that happens. Yeah, it just keeps me second guessing. Case in point, when Dan Stevens is at the end of the trailer, and he says, "Hey, ballet." I'm like, this guy's a vampire. And then there's like a little twist in the film where they say that the dad of Abigail is in the group. I'm like, oh no, it's Dan Stevens, we're gonna find this out at the end. But no, Giancarlo turns him into a vampire. It's those kind of moments in films after I've seen a trailer, because I always try to dissect. It's really a bad trait of mine. But when they throw me red herrings like that, it just makes the film even better.
We kidnapped a vampire. A ballerina vampire.
However, people, what did you think of the film? And what's your favourite vampire movie? Slap your comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my lovely creatures of the night.